Zilla, do you have anything you want to say, bro?
I think times, a lot of situations with a lot of women in relationships, when people get to know their partner, they don't get to know their partner. There's times where you think you know a person, they do something that's out of the normal, and it's just easy for us in general, men and women, to disconnect because of our own traumas that happened prior to the person we with, and certain things that people do. We've learned that those things trigger, you know, almost a domino. I mean, what's next after this? And everybody's thinking ahead. For her, I'm a parent myself, so you definitely want to protect your children, obviously, and protect yourself more importantly. But you see that the root of her, what she said, was really her children. I mean, obviously she's going to protect herself, but she's more so trying to protect her daughters from even seeing that, and thinking
Right,
that that's normal, and thinking that
right.
that's something that as a woman, should even be, entertaining. Most importantly, those young women are hopefully seeing a healthy relationship and wanting to, uh, you know, get that for themselves when they grow up in society. So obviously, she did what was best for herself. But us as men, when we hear that, we think, oh, this man, this, that man, that. We don't often think about the children. We don't often think about, the other aspect of that, of how those kids are affected by it, and how the woman is affected by it, by having to make a decision like that. Because obviously, if those kids have a relationship with that person, whether the father or not, it's going to affect different things. So, I definitely agree with what she did. Um, but I also understand the other aspect of it, of a man having a choice and a chance to right his wrongs and have that opportunity. And you keep constantly hearing her saying counseling, counseling, counseling. I don't hear a lot of our women saying counseling, counseling, counseling. We don't even go through counseling a lot of the times. That's usually foreign to us. So I think that's a great thing. I think counseling is a thing that we need to utilize a lot more, because we have issues in our lives that we don't go and talk to nobody about. Like you said, she's seen this man cry for the first time. You see a lot of women tell men that they're weak if they cry. They're weak if they see that type of emotion come out of a man. But yet they portray that they want that out of a man. But when they see it, they feel like, not her, but in general, you see our women kind of try to chastise men over having those
Right,
type of emotions in front of them.
right.
So I think a lot of what she said is needs to be taken. I think a lot of women should definitely take note to that and understand that when you go through trauma or a situation, you don't always have to make an impulsive type of
Decision.
decision. So,
Right.
I respect what she did.
But you got to be careful because you are a single mom. Those children, it seems like, are your responsibility, and their safety is your responsibility. Young girls in particular, right, are especially, they need a special type of care and attention, coming up. So nobody, I don't think that anybody thinks that protecting your girls shouldn't be high on a priority list. However, those children in 10 years are going to be gone. They'll be grown. They'll be in college. They'll be married. They'll be living their own lives. And then you'll be left with the life that you have and only what you invested in. And if in your own personal life, you invested only in your own happiness and supreme level of peace, then sadly, you might be left with just that. So I really think that it's important to try to make sure that you have some understanding about it, because who knows what type of pressure the brother was under. But if you think it's a pattern, it's something that he does. Some guys, sometimes men who are calm all the time, I was like this, they're powder kegs. And what that means is that I won't say anything, or I used to before I got therapy. I used to not say anything and not say anything. And then finally, I would blow up. And my blow up wasn't yelling or screaming. You were dead. I would cut you off. And
Yeah,
so
you
women
were
will,
just a walking crock pot.
yep. And there's a
But
lot of there's a
Mr.
lot of
Marty,
men
just
who
to,
process emotion like that.
yeah, that's all I was gonna say though, Mr. Marty. A lot of, especially in our community, that's what a lot of men are. You just walk around. You just. I don't even want to say accept, but you just take stuff and you just hold it in. And there's some men that, like you said, they just dead people off, and there's other men that they respond. They respond in the wrong way, and that one time that they respond in that wrong way, it gets them in a lot of trouble and affects the rest of their life. So
Yeah.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I was a powder keg, and like with men, it would be extreme, immense aggression and violence. If you had wronged me and I put it on and put it off and put it off, and if you were a woman, you were just dead. It was like I kicked you off the whole damn planet. Like I don't check your social media, I'm not returning your calls, nothing. And I tell you like, hey, I'm done with this. And I don't give you an explanation. I didn't give a shit about closure, none of that. Dead, done. It's over. Don't call me again. So,
Hey, go ahead.
guys have to approach their own emotions with a certain level of stoicism. They aren't allowed to react to them in normal society because society has deemed male emotion, aggression, frustration, all of these things as toxic, misogyny, and like just, it's bad to be a man and have any emotion except an emotion that the gynocracy, female centric world kind of approves of. And it's softening men to the extent that you guys aren't even attracted to most of these dudes anymore. I know a woman who's dating a man who has one leg, and I talked to her about what she loved about him, and she said she felt safe. I'm like, this brother's in a fucking wheelchair. She's like, yeah, he can't hurt me. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's sick as hell.
Hmm. Hey, Zilla, let me ask you a question, bro.
Yeah.
Do we gonna get back to these questions? Zilla, and give your honest opinion, give your honest answer on this. So the first question, Zilla, do childless men between the ages of 25 and 40 prefer to have children with children with women 35 plus or women in their mid 20s to early 30s? What is your honest answer and why do you feel that way?
A lot of men who are older will seek a younger woman versus a woman their age, for various reasons. I don't really like to speak in general, but if I'm going, I mean, I just think that a lot of those women just look. They are young women. They look good. They're vibrant. The lifestyles that a lot of those older men live is more of a younger lifestyle, even though they're older. Whether they're going through a midlife crisis, I don't know. Um, you know, I think that those women kind of keep that man young, if that makes sense.
The
You
Mafia
know,
Boss.
I think that a lot of men just like younger women, and because of if they're gonna have a kid, they're gonna want to have a kid with a younger woman. It's just when you have a kid with an older woman, there's a lot of complications that can happen. There's a lot that can go right too, but you're just more, if we're going by numbers, like everybody likes to talk about, it's just gonna
Hey,
be better
friend.
for you to have it with a younger person if you're gonna have a kid. But also, it comes with immaturity in most cases. So a lot of those men be looking to manipulate the young girl or try to control her in a different way. Not all the time, but it just really depends on that woman. But I would say that if a man's gonna pick, he gonna pick a younger woman.
But Zilla, um, what? I'm sorry. What? Even though we're men, Zilla, even though you and I are men, Mr. Marty here, other men in here, we're not women, but we know, Zilla, that as women get older, their eggs decrease, their viable eggs decrease. Like you mentioned, we know about geriatric pregnancy. We know about thank you for the roses, Samuel, bro, Samuel Brown. We know about like when they 35 plus and stuff. We know, like you said, about the birth defects and the complications that they can experience. And I've been saying this night, Zilla. This might sound kind of bad to some people, but Zilla, in our country, bro, and for years, and probably it's always gonna be this way. When it comes to women, bro, like a lot of men prioritize youth and beauty over age and maturity, Zilla. Like, would you agree if I said that?
Yes, absolutely. I always say that youth is wasted on the young and wisdom is wasted on the old.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and
I
and
think I
go ahead,
think a
Mr.
lot
Martin.
of men, I think a lot of men as well, and you guys tell me what you think about this. When you deal with these women that are in their 30s, they're set in their ways. They think they know everything. They're not willing to accept your leadership. They're not going to let you guide them through the problems of their relationship. They want to be in control of it. They want they bring the past trauma of their other relationships, the abuse or neglect or manipulation and mind games that they experienced or that they learned, they manifest that shit in the relationship they have with you. A younger girl pays, she's willing to do what you ask her to do. And that level of cooperation is so much more important to a man than whatever experience you might have divined as an older woman to become who you are. Men just don't value that, and they don't want to deal with the trauma of the other guys that you have dealt with, or you being set in your ways and not being able to get on his plan and his program.
And I'll answer that first. See, Mr. Marty, you're 41. Zilla is 35. I'm 25. Now I have heard countless men in y'all age range, you and Zilla's age range, Mr. Marty, say that. I like listen, I personally don't want to speak to that because I am young and I don't really deal with, I don't really deal with older women like women in their 30s and stuff like that, if you will. So I don't really want to speak to that, but I will say that I've heard countless men in both of you both of y'all age ranges say that. And I also want to say that when I've seen women hear men say that they don't like when like men say that. Well, Zilla, go ahead and answer. Zilla, Zilla, you can really answer to this.
I mean, I agree, and it's not even like about manipulating. It's just about having that, being able to have that conversation. I think once you got into a certain age, you are what you are, and that's just the end of it. There's not gonna be a conversation where a person can persuade your mind. And when you're a younger person, when it comes to a woman, depending on what she's searching for, she'll be a little bit more susceptible to what you're saying because of one, your wisdom, and two, if you are actually leading her, she will probably at least she'll at least listen, And there are a lot of older women that will listen too, but they're listening because they don't want to be alone. They're not listening because they want to, necessarily hear what you have to say. It's almost like I'm gonna hear what he has to say. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. A younger woman's like, okay, we got a little bit of wisdom. We're talking about good guys too. We're not talking about these guys that lead women astray and do all this BS. I like how women like to associate us with all the men. I say it all the time. When a man does something positive in society, he's an individual. That man's an individual. When a man does something negative, he's somehow a representation of every man in society. I always hate the aspect of how women bring that in. They'll talk about all the negative things that men do, but when it comes to being positive, being leaders, being respectful, being business owners, being people that are having a nice lifestyle and being able to lead in relationships, those men don't get talked about. Those men are their own selves. They're their own country. They're never a representation of us. But as an older man, for some reason, it's always been like that. Younger women are attracted to older men because of the security that they get from them, and younger women are attracted to older men because they want to, whether it's a financial situation, whether it's a daddy issue, whether it's the simple fact that he just has that grown man type of mentality. A lot of younger men are necessarily not say playing games, but they live in their life like a lot of us younger. When I was younger, I was doing. I wasn't looking to marry no woman. I wasn't looking to be no family man. I was out here trying to, what I'm saying,
That's what we said earlier. Yeah.
kick it, man. I wasn't trying to do
It's a
all that.
stage.
But
Yeah.
Zilla, this is what and I said this earlier, but like Zilla, this you was here when I was saying this last night. Like, bro, I'm 25. Like you said, you was my bro. I'm not trying to get married next year. I'm not trying to have a family next year or no time soon for that matter. Like, I am fully focused on me and becoming more
Do it.
accomplished and becoming more
Do it.
successful. And
Do it.
I'm not focused on having no time. Now that don't mean if I come across a woman that I'm opposed to being in a relationship, but I mean, just as far as like, I just think like to the woman that's in my age range that if that's really what you want right now, like you need to be dating up. You need to be hopefully like looking for men that aren't really trying to aren't really especially like I said, because older men are like these men, like I said, at 25 to 40, they're attracted to younger women. So if you want to be living a certain type of lifestyle right now, or you want certain things, you should it'd probably be best for you to like look at older men that want that right now and deal with them, because a lot of certain caliber of young men these days is not really interested in being in what y'all trying to be in at this point in time.
Rightfully so.
That's the women shouldn't be trying to marry men that are in their 20s. I mean, like, you can meet that one person, that one person. Like, I do believe that you can have that zing crazy moment with somebody where you meet that one person and all your rules go out the window. But for men, marriage is planning, because the responsibility falls to us. Those commitments: protect, provide, provision for a lifetime, die for if necessary. It's a big commitment to make, and it's a large task to take on, to provision for a lifetime, to put away enough money, resources to last from 65 to 85, 90 years old. It's 25, 30 years where you're not able to work, and there needs to be enough resources for both you and your wife. That's a big task to take on, and the commitment to die for somebody is a big commitment to make. So men are making a very different commitment in marriage than women are. We're not asking for you to make sure we're taken care of financially for the rest of our lives, and we're definitely not asking you guys to protect us or to die for us or anything like that. So you guys are making a very different commitment than a man is, and that's why men prefer women who are cooperative. And then when I hear women who are flighty and who will leave their man, I had a girl I was dating. She was she modeled in different little lingerie magazines and stuff like that. She's beautiful, and we went on a couple of dates, went to her house to see her. Took her to Pound Town over at her apartment,
Hey,
came out the next day, and yeah, took her to Pound Town. The next morning I woke up, walked into the kitchen to see what was in the fridge. I was thirsty, see if she had any water in the fridge. There's a man sleeping on the couch. And, I looked at him, he looked at me, what's up? I kept it moving. I got back into the bed with her. She kissing and hugging on me. I was like, there's a guy out there. She's still kissing and hugging on me. Come to find out, that was her ex-man. And this guy, was taking care of her, covering all the expenses. The drawers I took off her ass that night, he paid for. And, she just,
that's the best.
and her and I had this great connection, all of this shit. The moment I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, it's done. So a lot of women don't understand that men evaluate your past. They look at what you've done in your past and say, okay, she's capable of this and she'll do it to me too. So if you got 20 bodies, a man is like, okay, she's capable of this, she'll do it to me too. If she dumped her last man over nothing, she's capable of this, she'll do it to me too. So guys are listening to try to hear your mindset and what your system of values are. Values means what's important to you. What's important to you? Is it family? Is it commitment? Is it duty? Right? If it's not, if it's all love and it's a vibe and it don't feel right, and you can just leave because of your emotions, so your commitments don't mean shit, then a man is not going to promise to die for you and provide for you for a lifetime. And so a lot of these women who are in this manifest mindset stuff, they are saying the opposite of what a husband would want to hear to make that type of commitment. The opposite.
Miss Sabrina, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well. Miss Sabrina, speak. Rob, what's up, Rob? We about to have a party in here. Miss Sabrina, speak to any. I know I saw you in the comments, and Vada, I'm gonna get you up here too, Vada. And any other woman that wants to come up here, speak to any disagreements. Speak to any disagreements. You may have heard any of these brothers spew, because I saw you in the comments. Saying that you disagree with something, or you disagree with some things that was being said. So do your thing. Address any of these brothers. Address me. I ain't really been saying too much, but